Good evening all. Today I'll be explaining the lesson called The Rat Trap. This is the fourth lesson of Fleming textbook which was written by Selma Lagerlof. Now, first, what is the theme of the lesson? The theme of the lesson is the whole world is nothing but just a big rat trap. The people get trapped themselves as a rat is trapped who comes inside the rat trap in a search of sliced potatoes, tomatoes or cheese. Now, let me introduce the characters. The first and foremost character is Peddler. Peddler is the central character of the story of this rat trap. He sells rat traps of wires. That means those rat traps are made of wires. He has no enough money. That means he can earn only a meager money. That means not enough. Next character's name is Crofter. Who is he? He worked at Ramsau Ironworks earlier. As he has become old, so he stopped working over there. He has a cow now. It is only a source of his livelihood. He welcomes the peddler, that means the main character, and entertains him as the trustworthy friend. One fine day, this peddler meets Crofter. Then the narration takes a different twist. How it goes on, I'll explain in the key points when I summarize the story. Next one is the Iron Master. He is the owner of Ramsau Ironworks who has the ambition to ship out good iron to the market. So as he is the master, he is the iron master of his own factory. What is his ambition is to just deliver good iron to the people. He always comes to mill to inspect. And last character is Edla Williamson. Who is she? She is a very clever daughter of Iron Man. She puts a condition before the peddler to leave home according to his wish. She saves the peddler from the police and shows him a better path to life. So how the peddler has come and met Crofter, and then how did he meet Iron Master, and then how he has come across with his daughter, and how could the Iron Master's daughter save peddler from police and all these turns and twists you will come to know. Now, the peddler sold the rat traps moving on the streets. He was struck by the idea that the whole world was nothing but just a big rat trap. So what is the profession of this peddler? He sells rat traps moving on the roads, streets. What was his ideology about the world? He feels that if the whole world is just like a rat trap, then people are just like rats. How the rats are lured to the bait in the rat trap cage, the same way people also get attracted, lured to the bait. What is the bait? Made by possessions, houses, money, joy, happiness. These are all the things people get attracted towards. So that is his ideology about the world and the people. One dark evening, he came to a crofter's cottage to ask for shelter for a night. The crofter welcomed and entertained him as the trusted friend because he was alone. So one night, he approaches a cottage, a poor cottage of a crofter, and the crofter welcomed him with a cheerful smile. Why? Because the crofter was all alone. He has nobody in the house. So he felt at least a company for a night with him. And what kind of entertainment he has given? The crofter has given to the peddler, the rat trapper. He cooked food, he served food, and then he played cards with him, and then he shared his life experiences and his income and all, and he shared his cigar as well. Finally, he gave very good hospitality to the peddler. And the next morning, what happened was, the peddler stole the money and entered the path of a dense forest and got lost. To the hospitality provided by the crofter, what is the return gift given by the peddler? He stole the money of the crofter. And what did he do? He entered into a dense forest. Why? He was scared and frightened that if he uses highway, he might be caught by the police. So out of fear he entered into the forest as he is unaware of the directions and what is a route map or path. What happened with him is he lost the path in the forest. Hearing a thumping sound, he reached Ramzo Ironworks for a night shelter. So when he was finding out for a very good place to go to sleep for a night, he heard some thumping sound. And where is that thumping sound coming from? The thumping sound is coming from a nearby iron furnace where the machinery is working. So he reached there for shelter for that night. The owner came on his night rounds and noticed the ragged wretch near the furnace. He mistook him as an old acquaintance, Nils Ulf, of his regiment in army. He invited him to stay with them for Christmas, but the stranger declined the offer. Here what happens next in the story is the peddler reaches to the iron mill and asks the ironsmith permission for him to sleep over there for one night. He gets permission and he gets into sleep. Later, iron master, the owner of that mill, comes for a night inspection and approaches the peddler, and all of a sudden the iron master misunderstands the peddler with one of his old colleagues when he was working with army in his regiment. So he misunderstood this peddler with one of his friends in army and invites him to house. But the peddler, that means the rat trapper, he declines the offer because he was already frightened as he has stolen some money from the crofter, and again he is an army person inviting him to home. He feels that he will be into a death trap if he accepts the offer and follows him. His daughter, Edla Williamson, persuaded to go home with her and assured that it's not the compulsion, as he can leave any time if he wants to. Hence the peddler agreed to her words and followed her, taking fur coat that was brought for him. Now what happens? The ironmaster, who was not able to convince the rat trapper, the peddler, to come to his home, he has a daughter. Her name is Edla Williamson, and she is believed to be very good in persuading and convincing people. Believing in her capability of convincing people, the ironmaster sends his daughter to peddler, who was staying in iron mill, to bring him back to home as a guest on the eve of Christmas. So the girl came, persuaded him with her words, and finally she was able to take him back. Now what happened? On his way to the manor house, the peddler thought that he was thrown himself into the lion's den. The next day, he had his hair cut, clean shaven, bathed, and given new clothes. So what happened? When he was going back, he knew the fact that he was thrown into the iron den. Why? Because it is the army officer's house. Moreover, he has already committed a theft. And next day what happened? As he was clean shaven, bathed, and given new clothes, on the broad daylight he was witnessed by the ironmaster who had seen him in the dark shade of iron furnace. He was able to witness him directly in the broad daylight. What happened now? In the broad daylight, the ironmaster realized the stranger was not the captain and threatened him to call the sheriff. Sheriff means police. So, having seen him without beard, mustache, clean shaven, and new clothes, he realized that the peddler, the rat trapper, the peddler was not the one who worked with him when he was in army in his regiment. He has mistook him, somebody else, for his ex-colleague. Edla pleaded her father to ask him stay back as she prepared Christmas Eve for the poor abandoned rat trapper. When the captain realized he was not the one whom he was expecting as his friend in his regiment, when he was proven that he was not the same person whom he was expecting, he immediately asked him to leave the house. Then, further, Edla pleaded her father not to send him because she prepared all the items on the eve of Christmas, and she has expected that poor abandoned rat trapper who was mistreated and abandoned by the society would have one good day of his entire life. Christmas Eve at Ramsau was as usual, and the stranger slept and slept as if he never slept in his life. And he was told that if he wanted rest and peace, he would be welcome next Christmas Eve also. This was the promise made by Edla Williamson. What did she say? If he wants peace and rest, he would be welcome even for the next year. Then what happened? Next morning they went for early church service, leaving behind the guest who was asleep. As I told you, this peddler kept on sleeping and sleeping. So the very next morning he did not wake up early. By the time Edla Williamson and her father, they both went for early church service. There they heard about the theft at Crofter's house by a peddler. Edla becomes very upset. They reach home immediately and learn that the peddler had already left, but he had not taken anything at all with him. Instead, he had left a small packet for Edla as a Christmas present. What was that? She opens the packet and finds a rat trap. In that rat trap, what is it? 3 wrinkled 10 kroners, and also a letter with a request to return the kroners to the crofter. So, this is the conclusion. What happened? By the time when they have returned home, the rat trapper, that means the peddler, had already left. However, he did not take anything, he did not steal anything. Moreover, he left a Christmas present to Edla. Edla opened that packet curiously and she found a rat trap. In that rat trap, there were 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. And what was it written? And there was also a letter kept in that rat trap. She opened the letter and read. She read that information that he had stolen 30 kroners from a crofter and he requested Edla to return the money to the crofter. This is how the conclusion was made. And what is the moral? The moral is the compassionate hospitality given by Edla Williamson to the peddler has changed his mindset and his viewpoint towards the society into a different form and shape.